sublet that to give the taxpayers a break. Honestly, I think they need at least a 2-year break because for the last 10 years, their taxes have skyrocketed. That's just how I feel about it, and that's why I wanted to separate it. If I don't approve it, it would only be because I feel that that's what should be done. And I just want to make that clear.
Thank you. Anybody else have any other discussion? Carrie, can you do a roll call vote on that one?
Roll call vote. Jeannie Ewan.
Yes.
Dwayne Sullivan.
No.
Carl Thompson.
Yes.
Stephen Yerger.
Yes.
Danielle Brenneman.
Yes.
Mary Brenneman.
Yes.
Brian Lawyer.
Yes.
Nick Lovell.
Yes.
And that's 9.
Okay. Motion passes. Okay.
Okay, in the form of a motion, recommend approval of D of the 25-26 capital projects athletics.
I have a motion on the floor to approve letter D. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, having a second. Discussion on this.
Yes. Did we not exclude some of these at the last meeting? My question is, what are we, this is all about the softball field?
Softball,
The baseball field? Why did we not talk about excluding, doing the surveying to the softball field and just, so I was just wondering if we talked and we decided that, has those adjustments been made to this?
This is just an estimate of the costs. The bid, if approved, will go through and the board will be able to, through the design process, eliminate certain parts of the project.
This is just to show the design process.
But why pay the fee if we're not intending on doing it at all? Why do we not just stick to the scoreboards and the fence we're going to put? We said we wanted to talk about putting around the softball field and the improvements we want to do in the baseball field. Are they going to do all the surveying around the softball field and all that stuff too?
The reorientation was taken.
Yeah.
Oh, so all that is taken out? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, it's just, you sort of have to do one with the other.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
In order to get the fields up, like baseball field, for instance, you got to basically take the whole field out because the current baseball field, the dugouts are what?
Okay.
Yeah. So while you're there and you've already ripped up the first 40% of the
Gotcha. Yeah.
of the playing field, and then you're gonna to do the backside. You're gonna rip up the back 40%, so you got 20% missing. So it's kind of like, let's just, and that's what they were thinking with some of the stuff. And same with the softball field, because it's going to take a whole lot in order for that fence, because that fence is currently about 3 or 4 feet below grade in the back, because the dirt's hit. So
Okay.
that's all got to sort of get
Okay.
modified to be corrected. But
Thank you for the clarification. I appreciate it.
Does anybody have any other questions on this?
I do.
Okay.
And if you won't mind, Carl, I'd like to indulge Tom a little bit on this. And I don't want to bring up the next agenda item, but I want to ask part of this question. I see we got 534,000 in D. I think isn't that a decrease from what it originally was?
Correct. The softball decreased to about 150,000.
About 150,000 is what my figure was. Okay, now my question to you is E, and I hate to bring up E at this point. What's part of my question? Is that a problem?
No, go ahead, because
Okay.
it'll work. And if you don't have to ask it when we ask E, then that's fine.
According to what I saw under the other projects, it said it had the design fee of 4% and the 15% was a contingency.
Correct.
It's interesting.
All right. Now, why are we paying $82,070?
So this is just estimations. These are not prices. These are estimations based off of what we selected. That he's estimating if we completed the whole thing, these would be prices, which would include part of the contingency fee. So it would be all encompassing of 4% and the 15% based off of if we did everything to bid. So these are estimations about, and you can see at the later part what his per hour cost would be per professional. So he's selecting
270?
It would, yes.
It would, so
Yes.
you're not gonna go above 534, should D get approved, or E get approved, excuse me?
So we'll go through the design phase, and the board will be abreast of all of that, and they will be able to choose when we get to that point on cost.
That's like 15,
This is just
not 4.
estimation.
Okay, see, that's what confused me, because I saw them separated. Now, I just wanted to get that clarified, if you didn't mind, because I didn't know if you're gonna add that back in there, or if that was gonna, if that added to it, you're talking about only a savings of 60,000 from the original 684.
Yeah, so it would be included, so both D and E are both estimations at this point, so we would get further in the process to get better information.
Okay, thanks, Carl, for letting me indulge in that.
All right. Any further questions on D? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Form of the motion, recommend approval of E, turf track and court athletic facility consultants.
We have a motion on the floor for letter E. Do I have a second?
Second, Danielle Brenneman.
Thank you. Okay, discussion. Is there any further discussion?
I'm good, Carl.
Okay. Anybody else? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay.
All right, in form of a motion, recommend approval of the following donations. H.
I have a motion on the floor to recommend a donation from anonymous donor. Do I have a second?
Second, Dwayne Sullivan.
Okay. Discussion?
Just want to thank the anonymous donor.
Okay.
Much appreciated.
Always appreciated. Yes, thank you. No further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none.
Form of a motion, recommend approval of I, payment of invoices. 126.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second for the payment of invoices?
Second, Mary Brenneman.
Okay. Discussion?
I have some, just discussion, general discussion. So I go back through the solicitor bills, and I'm not gonna get specific to the events, but we've spent a lot of money with Stock and Leader this year, especially since Don Bell was on, a lot of money. And I will tell you, going back through these bills, because I'm still looking at the 2961 that we are talking about, we still have more recording guidelines on there. We spent $1,880 on recording guidelines. Is that really serious? Yes, that's what we spent. I think these Stock and Leader bills are just going crazy through the roof. I think that they should be pulled way back, because my calculation is we spent $23,000. Last year we spent 13. I did the math on it and went back. We are spending a huge amount of money with Stock and Leader. And I think that we should be more constrained on the use of it. Now, I know Don used it like it was a gumball machine. I could tell by looking at the bills, but I think we need to step back on this. That's a huge amount of money. And most of it, some of it was spent to stop certain things from going on in this boardroom, which is not a good thing. Several items were, a lot of items were to stop things in this boardroom. So I think we better be better stewards of the taxpayers' money on that aspect. That's how I feel about it. And that's what I have to say on it. Hopefully, we do better, but that's crazy what we're spending with that.
Carl,
Thank you. Yes, sir.
there's a number back on this board here, $9,463.34. I think that figure should be added into your equation, your comments.
Oh, you want me to add it in? You talking about the 7 right to knows? Okay.
Just saying.
8. All right, while we're on that subject, thank you for bringing that up. So if we spent $9,463.34, I'm going to make a comment. Thank you, Stephen, for bringing that up. So here's the deal: 197 days from December 4th to June 17th. I asked for emails, text messages, and everything. What did I get? I got one email. One email, no text, no other message, no anything. And I'm telling you, that's a ripoff. Because if any, I could see that if you gave me a plethora of information. But when you deleted all your stuff and didn't give me anything, that's ridiculous. Anybody could write an affidavit in 10 minutes. That is just, and I'm not gonna take the blame for that. Y'all shouldn't have erased your stuff. That's what came out of that discussion. And thank you for bringing it up, Steve, because that needed to be said. There's no way 5 board members didn't talk to each other in 197 days.
I have better things to talk about than you.
Well, you know
Okay.
what? I have a few
All
items
right, all right.
that
So,
were said.
while you're gonna pause that, I'm gonna tell you for a fact, I've been to Stockton Leader meetings over the last 10 years, and one of the highlights that they always say is, once you finish with your emails, delete them,
Always,
always,
always.
delete them.
From the top, they say.
That's
From the top.
That's what they
Yeah,
told
that's-
me.
So,
always told us.
if you delete
Great for
them
open government.
from the top, then you don't have anything to give anybody, so that's how you have none.
That's not legal.
It's your emails, and if they've been suggesting it for at least 6 years that I can remember, it's quite legal. So, any
Isn't
further
it-
discussion on the payments of invoices? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries.
Okay, so it's noted.
Thank
in
you.
the report.
Under personnel, does anyone have any items they wish to be pulled? I'm going to pull B. Are there any others?
I like to pull C, D, G. Do you want me to be specific on G?
G cannot be pulled, it is in notation only.
No, it's not.
It is,
No, G,
but
approval
we
of
have to prove,
volunteers.
we have to prove it, but there is no discussion on
On what?
it. If there's any discussion, it has to go to executive session.
On G?
Yep.
That's a new rule.
That's a new rule. Why? It's approval of classroom volunteers.
People's personal information.
You can only discuss it once you, Dwayne.
C.
Okay. 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 All right.
In the form of a motion, recommend approval of personnel report items A, E, F, H, and I.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor to approve under the personnel A, E, F, H, and I. Do I have a second?
Second, Steve Yerger.
Any discussion on those specific letters? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
In the form of a motion, recommend approval of Doug Hartloff's retirement effective June 5th, 2025.
I have a motion on the floor to recommend approval of Dr. Hartlove's, yeah, it's pretty bad when you see a D, you automatically put doctor, it's because there's too many of you guys out there. Doug Hartlove, school counselor, effective June 5th, 2025.
Second, Mary Brennan.
Okay, discussion.
I just want to thank Mr. Hartloff for his 23 years of service to the district. He will be greatly missed. And thank you very much and enjoy retirement.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Is there a specific one you're after here?
I had a general question under C.
Okay, then we'll,
Okay.
In the form of a motion, recommend approval of item C, staff resignations.
I have a motion to approve recommend your staff resignations. Letter C, do I have a second?
Second, Daniel Brennan.
Thank you. Discussion.
I would like to ask a question. I read that the district is down to 5 bus drivers on staff, and we're using 6 from Lincoln
Yes.
Intermediate.
Yes.
I just would like to know what is the issue with the bus drivers, and I mean, you don't have to get specific, but it seems to me like we can't keep them.
Money,
Is that what it is? Is that what it is?
Money.
money.
Didn't they get a raise in the support staff, Brian?
Yes.
Yeah, but
It
we
wasn't
don't pay-
enough?
We don't pay as well.
We don't pay.
Oh, and we don't pay as well?
We don't pay
Okay.
close.
Here's the rub, and if I'm correctly, and I will give permission to the two people in the back that if I don't say it correctly, we pay a good salary, but when they go to, I said good, I didn't say great.
Fact checked already.
And we pay a good salary, but our employees, because of their contractual agreements are that they work from the beginning of school to the end of school, so when school's over, they don't get a paycheck. When you go to work for our competitors, which we wind up employing, they can then collect unemployment, which these folks cannot. So it's a no-win situation, and the pay could be better.
Well,
But how do we compensate that when you're still gonna be able to collect unemployment when school's not in session?
I see.
a lot of the competitors from what I've gathered are paying approximately $40 to $50 more a day.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
here's the other rub that you don't get. You've got unemployment, and then most of our bus drivers are on the retirement side, so they're not looking to go get money pumped into a retirement program because they don't need that. They're more looking for a paycheck, and as I know for the one in the back, he's just looking for fun. So that's what they want. So whereas the other bus drivers aren't sinking their money into things that the bus drivers aren't, but we sort of have to because we're contractually bound to put into retirements and PSERs and things like that. So that's where the rub, it's a rough rub, and I'm always looking for someone to come up with some other ideas. So the other idea, I mean, when I started out 11 years ago, and I know you hate hearing me do this, my first field trip was to go up to a bus company because I wanted to know why. We had Larry the bus driver on back then, and we were thinking of getting rid of the busing. And they couldn't even give me any great answer. So, you know, I went up to the big boys up in Harrisburg and talked to them. But until we can,
Do you have permission to say?
I'm gonna give
something?
you permission because I wanna make it right. I wanna make it right so that we can maybe correct the situation. And I'm
When
gonna
we
break
brought
my
this
rule.
up before about bus drivers, van drivers, and what they make, we don't make a lot of money. You guys would never live on it. But what it is, when you hire contractors, and I'm sure that Mr. Sherbaker can help me out there, we pay them a lot of money, like $300 a day per driver. That gets split with Lincoln, KT, whoever. Well, what we were saying is, go ahead and pay us $125, $150 a day, something. But you're gonna pay that $300 no matter what, because you can't keep the drivers here. And don't take it for granted that some of us live close, we all live close. These two people that left to go to a better bus company live close too. So it's a little bit insulting when you say, oh, these people aren't gonna leave, they live right up the street. No, no.
They didn't say that.
I knew what it was said, but
Did I
anyway.
It was said by a previous superintendent.
And just so you know, we get paid the daily rate. So, oh yeah, I got a $2 raise, but that's per day. You know, come on,
All right,
you all can
time's
do
over.
that.
You don't get a minute and a half.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. I mean, and I'm, you know, you all want transparency, there it is. You now know what it is, and there's no quick fix, and and buses, we used to have a lot of options. We used to have our own ability to get bus drivers to be trained and work. Can't do that anymore. The state heard us, the state handcuffed us on that one, if I remember correctly.
We have,
I don't think you did.
we have somebody on staff that can help with CDL training.
Help, but they can't, yeah, they used to be able to almost give you the license pretty much. Can't do that anymore, so, the only option is to talk to the finance committee and, no, the state.
They are on the agenda twice.
That's what I thought. Okay.
So I was under the understanding that when we did the support staff, I thought that was baked into it, but I'm assuming now that that wasn't, so we couldn't really address it the way we should have, is what you're saying?
I believe so.
Okay.
What do you mean? by
When we
that?
did it, well, I mean, obviously, like you said, we're not paying them.
Absolutely.
And I agree, and I thought maybe we tried to remedy that when we did the support staff raises, that's what I'm trying to say. And maybe we didn't, because by the way, you're all saying we didn't. I don't go into the personal incomes and the personal payments of the bus drivers, but I just was sitting here thinking, why are we losing them?
Well, because of money.
Because of money.
Competitors pay so much more. I actually did a deep dive with Tom and talked with Laura on this. And like it was said before, the reason why it's difficult for us to match those rates in the salary is because we have a automatic 30-some% added on top of the retirement benefits. Competitors don't have to do that. And so we're trying to look into creative ways to get them. But as of right now, it hasn't been. So that is something that is a priority. But
Yeah, because-
it's a struggle in all Commonwealth school districts.
Okay.
And that's why the bus drivers, that's why the competitors, the transportation companies are able to snatch a lot. And you see, there's a lot of people that go there because of
And so Nick, is it that the bus drivers don't need the PSERS benefits as much as they need the money, or?
from what we've looked at, they'd rather take them all.
And remember, PSERS doesn't start until 10 years?
Depending on your classification.
So if you join at 65, you retire, you're 75 before you even can get a penny back. So it's not, and again, this is where we're kind of handcuffed, and I don't see a whole lot of 20-year-olds running to jump to be on a school, well, have to be 21 at least, if I remember correctly. So 21-year-olds running to jump to be a school bus driver. Sitting on those buses, well, all I see when they goes by my house is a lot of noise. So, is there any other discussion on that? I mean, I think that's something we're gonna look at. I mean, it's something that's been on my plate, by several people. So, I think it's back to you.
We have
Do we have any discussion? Any more?
No.
Okay. All right. All those in favor of letter C of the personnel committee, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Are there specific staff hires you have a question about?
I just wanted to ask, and I probably should ask this in the workshop, I'm sorry.
Do you need me to pull one to vote on it separately? Or
No, 1 through 6, I apologize, go ahead.
In the form of a motion, recommend approval of item D, the staff hires.
I have a motion on the floor to approve the staff hires on letter D. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
I'd like to ask, are any of these new hires, or they are already positions? All that,
All these are positions, yes.
that you already have? So it's not costing the district?
They're just replacement for one that.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Same question on volunteers. Are there any you need to vote on separate?
We're down to G.
Mhm.
I would like to pull Dolores Nestor and Brian Loyer, 2 and 3.
So, in the form of a motion, recommend approval of item G1, classroom volunteers.
I have a motion on the floor to approve item G1. Do I have a second?
Second, Mayor Brennan.
Any discussion on that?
The only thing I want to ask,
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
There's just one.
Right.
Just one.
I just wanted to ask a question.
Okay.
Does anybody on the board personally know any of these people?
I don't know why that's wrong.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Would that have any relevance, Dave, to the
We're
vote?
pulling that.
Oh,
I don't, unless it would be a conflict of interest under the Ethics Act, I don't,
think it would have any
If
relevance.
somebody has clearances and everything else, they're allowed to volunteer.
Yeah.
Not
Not
necessarily.
me. Not me. They singled me out on 520 and said no. And I had all of it.
Well, you also have body cams and.
That doesn't stop me from being a volunteer.
Well, parents don't want
Okay.
kids.
Discussion about I-1. Okay. Does anybody have any more discussion about G1? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Okay.
In the form of a motion, recommend approval of,
Go through.
of G3, Michael Hickey, Well Hill, and Tommy Morris.
Have a motion on the floor for letter G, athletic, Mr. Hickey, Mr. Hill, and Mr. Morris. Do I have any discussion on those three individuals? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
In the form of a motion, recommend approval of classroom volunteer renewal for Dolores Nestor.
Okay, the motion on the floor to approve Ms. Nestor for classroom.
Did we do Brian Lawyer?
Not yet.
We're back. So I have a motion on the floor, do I have a second?
Second, Danielle Brennan.
Okay. Do we have discussion?
The only thing I want,
Do we have discussion, yes or no?
yes.
Okay. Executive session pause for executive session.
Shouldn't we do G2 and G3 Brian Lawyer at the same time in executive session?
Well, if he has comments about them in the executive session, we're going to talk about it.
Yes. Yep.
Funny how didn't need executive session for the other board members.